Hey, Cindy. Good evening, Cindy. How are you?
Oh, there's Cindy. Yeah.
So I think with that, we can get started. Thank you all for coming tonight. I'm Andrew McNichol, staff planner for the Town Hall of Reading. We're here for the ZBA of November 5th, 2020, and I can start with saying that this meeting is being recorded both on Zoom and broadcast by RCTV, just so everybody is aware. The ZBA members with us tonight are Chair Robert Redfern, Nick Pernice, Hillary Mative, Jamie Mon, and Cindy Hartman. So thank you all for joining us. I am the one who will be sharing the screen tonight with the applicant's plans. It looks like they're the only ones here tonight. We don't have members of the public, but anyone can call in or log in here if you have any comments or questions. But I can share the screen as the applicants present their applications. And then we'll start with board comment and then pass it back to the public if any. So with that, I'll hand it off to Bob, who can get this meeting started.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. Let's see, we got the. Okay, can you hear me all right, Andrew?
Yep.
Okay. The first case we have tonight is ZBA case number 20-10. And the Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing for remote and online measures on Thursday, November 5th, 2020 at 7 p.m. on the application of Michael Marcella pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, subsection 10, for a variance under Reading zoning bylaws, sections 5.2, 4.5.2, 6.3, and 7.4, as may be determined by the zoning board, to construct a roofed porch with a non-conforming front yard setback on the property located at 117 County Road, Assessors Map 9, Lot 12, in Reading, Massachusetts. Unless there is an objection, I will dispense with the reading of the abutters list, except to say that the abutters were all notified, as were the following: Select Board, Police Department, Building Department, Health Department, Engineering Division, Town Clerk, Fire Department, Conservation Commission, Assessor's Office, CPDC, members and associate members of the Board of Appeals, as well as the planning boards of Wakefield, North Reading, Woburn, Lynnfield, Stoneham, and Wilmington. Now, testimony given before this board is taken under oath. So if you think you may want to speak, please stand. You don't have to stand, obviously. We're doing Zoom, but please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I swear that the testimony given by me before this board will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Response is I do. Or raise your hand.
I do.
Basically, this is for the applicants. Yes. Okay. We're all set. We saw that. Okay. If the applicants would like to take over the screen and present your case in this particular thing, give us a description. We'll be glad to listen to everything.
Okay, I'm Cheryl Michella. I filled out the application, so I'm going to do.
Okay.
This is my husband, Mike. So the short story is that Mike, and he can back up to show you, Mike is in a wheelchair. He's a quadriplegic. And we bought our house 2 years ago, and we're attempting to make the whole house wheelchair accessible. And right now, the house was originally a split level, and it's kind of unique because we live on a hill, downhill, and the front door was originally at the ground level, and then you had to take steps up to the main living area. So we actually removed the traditional split level stairs and put the front door that goes directly into the living room. And so we need to put a front entryway. Right now we have a temporary. So we would like to make, in order to make a landing when you go outside the front door, and we'd like to have it covered, protected from the elements, so a wheelchair can move, or, go outside, turn around and come back in safely. It requires the porch, I say it's a porch, it's more like a covered entryway, 2 feet into the zoning setback. And so the whole area that would be into the frontage, not the frontage, the setback is 2 by 7. So 14 square feet is what we're looking for to make it a wheelchair accessible landing. So I don't know if you want me to go through, I can read my application.
Yes,
top it off.
that would be great if you could go through the criteria that's needed for a variance. I know you sent that in and came with our package, but if you could go through that item by item, the 4 items for a variance.
Sure, okay. So
Thank you.
Item number 1, which is describe the circumstances relating to the shape or topography, which especially affect the land or structure. So if I can talk, the subject dwelling is built on a steep slope, and there is a relatively small amount of flat land around the dwelling that can be accessed from the dwelling. This is not typical to the zoning district, as a large portion of properties have mostly level lots. This is problematic as Michael Michella, the owner and the occupant of the dwelling, has a spinal cord injury and permanently requires the use of a wheelchair. The subject dwelling was previously, as I mentioned, a split entry style home with the front door accessed down 3 steps from the street and then entry at the ground level. To enable interior wheelchair accessibility, the interior split staircase was removed and the subject was converted to 1-floor living. The front door was raised for entry directly into the foyer living area. We are seeking for a dimensional variance, proposing a 5 by 5 by 7 by 8 covered front entry that will extend 2 feet 3 inches into the zoning setback. This proposed platform would permit Michael to have an ADA compliant platform that would allow him to move safely in and out of the home without assistance. The second item is describe how the enforcement of the provisions of the zoning ordinance relating to the circumstances, especially the land or structure in question, would involve substantial hardship, financial or otherwise, to the petitioner. My response is, without the covered front entry, Michael would endure hardship by not having an accessible second form of egress for safety reasons. It would not be able to independently and safely go outside the front door in the event of an emergency and for daily living, such as to gather mail and packages and to greet visitors to the home. Third item is describe, if I'm going too fast, stop me, please. Describe how desirable relief may be granted without substantial detriment to the public good. And my response is, by granting a dimensional variance, this would not be detrimental to the public good. The proposed front covered entry would enhance the exterior appearance of the home and would enable the home to be more in conformance with other homes' front entries in the neighborhood. The portion of the front entry encroaching the front zoning setback is 16 square feet. This is a nominal amount with no impact to neighbors or abutters. The front entry has been designed by a local architect, Steve Basic, and would be a benefit to neighbors to have a neighbor with an attractive house. Last item is describe how desirable relief may be granted without nullifying or substantially derogating from the intent or purpose of the zoning ordinance of the town of Reading. Our response is, the proposed covered front entryway is not intended to nullify or substantially derogate from the zoning ordinance. There is a unique circumstance with the home being built on a steep slope with very limited utility of the grounds, and because the owner is wheelchair bound, entry to the home independently and safely is problematic. The proposed covered entry is an improvement to the property in a manner which is reasonable, customary, and consistent with other properties in the neighborhood and zoning district.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. And if you have anything further to say, we can, you could say it now, or if not, we'll go to board members for their comments. Do you have anything further to add?
Just that when we purchased this house, the intention was to try and make it as accessible for me as possible because we plan on being here a long time. And we came up with this idea of doing this to go along with our intentions on trying to make a split entry into a more accessible, available ranch style house. And I think that it is a reasonable request on our part to have an area where I can safely not worry about the elements or the falling off the porch area.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I will go to board members now and ask for their comments on this. Nick, would you like to go?
Sure, thank you. Yeah, I'll start.
Sure.
So actually, I want to talk a little bit more about like our zoning regulations in regards to this case, because I just want to start at the top. So the purpose of our zoning regs basically says to promote the health, safety, general welfare of the inhabitants of the town of Reading. You know, so long as whatever's going on isn't detrimental to the public good and the residents around them. So I went looking through our zoning regulations to see if I could find anything about reasonable accommodations or mobility accommodations. And there was only one thing in the performance standards on accessory dwellings that said the special permit granting authority, us, can make accommodations for mobility. But there wasn't really anything else in the zoning regs. But interestingly enough, reasonable accommodations are covered and should be incorporated in the zoning regulations. They're covered under the Americans with Disabilities Act and the Fair Housing Act. So even going through the variance criteria side, I think under federal law and based on the merits of this, I have no issues with this. So that's all I really have to add.
Okay, thank you, Nick. Jamie, would you like to comment on this?
Yes, thank you, Bob. First of all, I'd like to say that you're concise and clear and well-written explanation of how you met the variance criteria are the best I've seen. I've only been on the board a year, but these are by far the best I've seen. So I applaud you for that and thank you for making it clear. Second thing I want to say is that I'm fully in support of this. And Nick, thanks for pointing out that the overview of the of our bylaws speak to this situation, although maybe not specifically to the intent. So I think we're in conformance with that. And then lastly, I have a few questions just because I'm curious and want to understand it. I don't think that it affects directly your application or my full support of it, but just out of curiosity, the first one is I've driven by and taken a look and I see the ramp going into the new door. And I'm curious, is that the permanent ramp or do you have plans to change that ramp to something more permanent?
Well, I guess my first explanation of this is that we are actually going to move the entrance off to the left-hand side of the property.
Oh.
A second entrance. And that is going to allow me to have a more gradual ramp that will go feed directly into our driveway and allow me to quickly get into my car from the driveway.
If you see the plan.
The proposed addition there?
Yes, the proposed
Yes.
addition. So there'll be a permanent ramp built there that will go straight to the driveway. So this proposed covered front entryway is the second exit.
Will it have a ramp directly to street level as that metal ramp does now on the front of your house?
No,
No, I'd almost have to make like a drawbridge if I was to make a permanent ramp. And it just didn't seem like, it seemed like it would be affecting more of the property than we wanted to do. And the alternative was to put the permanent ramp that we would be making out of masonry products over to the left-hand side of the property. And that we would, the purpose of the other platform where the front door is right now, it would have stairs, and it would be a secondary place where if there was a fire in our main part of the house and I needed to get out of the house quickly, just to get out of the house, I could go to that platform and wait for someone to come rescue me. And also, if somebody comes to visit, I would be able to go out on this platform and be able to greet them or find out who you talk to them, as well as packages. As you know, everybody's getting packages delivered in mail now, and we wanted that would be also what we'd be using it for.
So you would not be able to get out of that front door onto County Road after this construction. There wouldn't be a ramp or a way for you normally, other than an emergency, to get from that front door to County Road, correct?
Right now, we don't have a plan. It's been cost prohibitive at this point.
Right, right.
Because,
So
because the slope of the land.
You wouldn't continue with something like that metal temporary ramp that you have now?
No.
Okay.
It's going to be a pressure treated built deck with composite siding and composite decking. That is as it is proposed in the
okay, well, that's good to know. Thank you. I'm sorry you couldn't find a convenient way to enter your new front door and your new porch directly from County Road, but I understand. And then my final question really doesn't have anything to do with it. I'm just curious. Will you still be able to get, since you're going to be coming on what is now the upper part of the split level, will you still be able to get to the lower part of the split level? Is there a way for you to do that in your wheelchair?
Part of the addition, there'll be a lift.
Oh, okay. All right. Good. Okay. I think that's all that I have. I might think of something later, but thank you for your answers.
Okay, thank you, Jamie. I'll go to Hillary. Do you have any comments?
I don't have anything to add beyond what Nick concisely and eloquently stated at the beginning. I do think this is a elegant solution, and I agree with what he stated. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Hillary. And Cindy, welcome to the board. I know this is your first meeting, and we will be asking you to participate by voting tonight on this item. Do you have any comments?
Thank you. Yeah, this is my first meeting where I'm actually voting.
Right.
But yeah, I'm actually familiar with this house because I was also looking for a house over 2 years ago, and I looked at that house. And you bought it and I didn't. But I just wanted to say that since I am familiar with the way it looked before, you've made some really remarkable improvements to it. The overall exterior, just looks much better than it used to. And I think your proposed porch, as she just said, it's a good solution, and it's a strange lot. There aren't very many options for you. It seems to be the house seems to be very close to the road. It feels that way. It just feels a little bit cramped already. And I don't think that a porch extending past the requirements a little bit is going to really make much difference one way or the other in that regard. So I would support this.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I will go ahead and make my comments now on this. And basically, looking at it in regards to the 4 criteria, I consider this a unique situation in that the lot is to me, an odd lot. It's like, what is it? I'm just reading, I got my reading glasses right now, but about 70 foot deep and 200 foot length on the road. So it is fine there, and it meets all the criteria for the zoning board or for the zoning bylaws in regards to lot frontage, lot area, etc. But because of its odd shape, it doesn't leave much of a building envelope in the lot on that. With the 20-foot front setback, 20-foot rear setback, 15-foot side setbacks don't seem to have too much of an impact on it. But I consider criteria number one, because of the uniqueness of the lot, and also because of the topography of the land. It does slope quite severely down from County Road down the back of the lot. And I think any addition to the front or to the back would certainly encroach into that, beyond that building envelope. And I think that's a unique situation. On that. Number two, I think because of the applicant's situation, et cetera, that this would be definitely a hardship to them if the variance were not granted. And I don't think that they're asking for a lot. The covering over the front steps is basically all it is. I don't consider that a real porch, as you say. They've done the minimum on that to just cover that porch on that. And to me, it appears to meet all four criteria for a variance on that. And that's what that's basically what I can see now. I have no problems supporting this at all. Andrew, I don't know if we have any public with us tonight to comment. I know we got a letter in, Andrew. Would you like to read that, or would you want me to read that into the record?
I'm happy to read it in. Thank you. I did have that, and I was going to mention it. We got a letter from abutters Judith and Robert Clark, who said, "Hello, Mr. McNichol. We received a Zoning Board of Appeals notice a while ago about attending a Zoom meeting for ZBA case number 20-10 tomorrow evening. This was a few weeks ago now. We live across the street on the corner of Emerald Drive at number 9. We have no objection to Michael Maschella's construction of a roof porch with a non-conforming front yard setback on his property. We know that Michael is wheelchair bound, and this addition to his house will give him more mobility. He's already improved the appearance of the outside of his house since he moved here and keeps everything looking nice. If we have no objection, should we attend the meeting, which I mentioned they did not have to, but they are more than welcome to. Thank you, Judith and Robert Clark."
Okay.
We're in support of this application.
Thank you, Andrew. And as far as I know, that is the only public comment that we received.
Correct.
And unless there is anybody else that is involved or listening in on the Zoom meeting and like to comment, they're welcome to certainly comment at this time. And if not, I will close the public portion of the meeting, public comment portion of the meeting. And I will go back to board members and ask if they have any further comments. Any of the board members, feel free to speak up if you have further comments. If
yeah,
not,
Bob,
I'll take a motion. Yeah.
Can I just add something else to the?
Sure, Nick.
So as I was going through the zoning regs, it occurred to me that it's pretty inadequate as far as contemplating and accommodating human accessibility and reasonable accommodations. And it struck me as the fact that something, like, because we've had cases like this before, something so common sense that, one, it rises to the level of a variance, to me is crazy. If anything, a special permit. And then the fact that, to me, this almost seems like a decision that should be, potentially could be made, maybe we can discuss this more, by the building commissioner on a case-by-case basis to not even come before the ZBA. So I don't know if the zoning regs, our zoning regs need to be updated, or we should talk about this more, the local, daytime government should talk about this more. But I just wanted to bring that up. One, I definitely don't think accommodation issues should rise to a variance. One, if anything, a special permit, and preferably maybe, you know, can actually be made by the building commissioner. So I wanted to know what you guys thought about that.
Okay, well, thank
Maybe
you,
we
Nick.
should talk about that later. I don't know.
Yeah, thank you, Nick. I certainly agree with you in regards to modifying the bylaws. You know, it's kind of a funny situation here in Reading in that the Board of Appeals really doesn't have much input into the new bylaws. It all comes through CPDC on that and approved by town meeting. It's a town meeting thing. And so consequently, you know, something like that is put in, I would assume it would have to go through town meeting and it would have to be approved and then inserted into the bylaws and then approved by the state on that. I think as it comes down to it, I believe if this were ever appealed or had to go back to courts or something, I believe probably state law and even federal law would supersede our local regulations in regards to ADA compliance on that. So as I say, I have no issue with it at all. And I think you're right, use your common sense on this, and it seems like the right thing to do. Anybody else?
Yes, if you don't mind, if I
Yes,
could
Jamie.
just add to what you and Nick said, we do periodically review and modify the bylaws. I know it's a pain in the
Right.
butt, but it is something we do and need to continually do because we're always finding things like this. I don't think it should be left to the discretion of the building inspector. I do think, though, that a change in the bylaw to something to the effect that if something contrary to the normal bylaws is required for accessibility, that it be approved if there's no alternative. So I would fully support next time we modify the bylaws to add something like that. And I know CPDC takes the lead in changing the bylaws, but I think we have a role to play and could weigh in when they go through that process. And even if that doesn't work, we could do it on the floor of town meeting. But I think that this is important, that the ZBA be given some backing in the bylaw to grant variances for the purpose of accessibility that might not strictly meet all the other criteria. I think that is important, and I think this case points that out.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Jamie. Hillary or Cindy, we're all set. Any further comment?
All set.
All set.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. At this particular time, I will take a motion in regards to what was it here? Case number 20-10 in regards to approval of the requested variance. Hillary, would you like to make that motion?
I make the motion. What am I supposed to say? I forgot. To vote. Do I read the standard conditions? No.
I think just what we said, you know, basically make it in the positive manner to approve the variance.
And a motion to approve the variance.
That's requested by the applicant.
Requested by the applicant in case 20-10.
Right. And as shown on the certified plot plan presented and as indicated in the architectural plan submitted with the application.
Okay, as indicated on the certified plot plan of number 117 County Road prepared by John D. Sullivan III on September 1st, 2020. And in the architectural plans by Stephen Bazik, architect. I can't read the date on this.
Yeah, I'm looking date. I have July 20th, 2020.
Yes, dated July 20th, 2020.
Fine, thank you. Do I hear a second on that?
Second.
Thank you, Cindy. And any further discussion? If not, I'll take a roll call of the approvals. If you approve of the motion, please indicate by saying yes. Jamie?
Yes.
Thank you. Nick?
Yes.
Thank you. Hillary?
Yes.
Thank you. Cindy?
Yes.
Thank you. And myself, yes. Let it be shown in the records and noted that it passes unanimously.
Great.
Thank
So we will
Okay,
work to
thank
get
you.
the stamped plans and a decision to you guys as soon as we can.
Okay, that's good. Cindy, would you care to write that up? Or excuse me, not Cindy, Hillary.
I have to write, yes.
I was
will.
throwing Cindy right in the fire there.
Yeah, I'll send you a template, Hillary, if I haven't already for variants as well.
Yes, I don't have the variants yet.
Okay.
Thank you.
That'd be great. Okay, I appreciate it. Is there any further business tonight, Andrew?
We're just gonna quickly, if I can share the 2021 schedule on screen here. So we had sent around, I think last week or two, two proposed 2021 schedules, one being on Tuesdays and one being on Thursdays. We were exploring Tuesday as an alternative because Thursdays aren't always ideal for town hall and town staff and for filing notices, like if we got a decision on a Thursday or so. But unfortunately, Tuesday just isn't going to work because the select board meets that night, and I think there are some other potential conflicts there. So Thursdays it is going into 2021, as long as that works for you all. Hillary had some good notes on the calendar that we sent, that May 6th and November 18th are potential town meeting dates. So I think we'll have to, play those by ear. If town meeting is extended, this might be the first date, so that might be removed, but we'll plan that out as we get closer. So just wanted to get you guys this as soon as possible as we look to 2021 and get these dates in the calendar. So if you see anything that immediately strikes you as not working, then just let me know and we'll work to find another date or make it work somehow.
Sure.
So you'll see these two yellow, sorry, these were moved. They're not the exact dates we would normally meet, but they're due to Jewish holidays and other holidays falling on the dates that we would meet, so we moved them.
Okay, well, that's good to have for the coming year. I think on maybe some of these dates that may conflict, like with town meeting, why don't we wait till we see what's happening and see what applications come in, and whether we require a meeting for that night or not, or maybe we could move it one way or another one night or something.
Right, that's what I'm thinking too.
But I think if we wait till we get closer to those conflicting dates, we could maybe have a better inclination of how to attack it.
Agreed. We'll know what's on the docket and what's expected.
Sure.
So.
And it looks like I haven't seen any notifications for 2 weeks from tonight. Do we have anything coming up on the agenda for the first meeting in December?
I haven't gotten anything, and I believe that deadline has passed, so I don't believe so. I believe there's one application in the books, but we haven't fully received it yet, so that could be coming either second week of December or the 1st of January. So.
Okay, yeah. Okay, well, I appreciate it. So we'll keep our eye open on the first meeting in December and go from there.
Yep.
And we may not be doing it, and we'll see what happens. Anything else?
Just a few planning updates if nobody has anything.
Sure.
The open space and rec plan, there's a survey out that's being updated right now. The survey is live, I believe, on the website. I should have had this prepared to share. So that's live right now and running for a few more weeks. So shout out to any public watching and more. Please do go on the town webpage and conservation page and submit any surveys that you can. The more feedback we get, the better.
Andrew, if I could ask a question.
Mhm.
I've talked to some people around town that got an email alerting them to the fact that that survey was up and running and encouraged them to participate, but I didn't receive one. How was the determination made if
I
we got a?
think that email blast went through Recreation Department and Jenna, who is the lead down there, and she has a list of recreation members from whether it be little leagues or other type of open space and rec activities and clubs around town. She has a whole master list of contacts that she blasted it out to. I believe the Conservation Commission Trails Park Committee did the same. So they blasted their whole networks that they know people are super into it and have experience in these outdoor areas.
Yeah, I think that's great. I do think though that if you have any say or could raise the issue, I think at a minimum all 10 meeting members should receive those notices of surveys, because they're the ones that are ultimately going to have to approve whatever comes out of
Yeah,
the
absolutely. I
plan.
believe we have
So
a
I
list.
think that would be a great addition to that list.
Sure thing. Let me write that down. Meeting room. Yeah, I think we could definitely make that happen. Great input, thank you. So we have a few other initiatives going on. Downtown organization, parking is still underway. Any modifications to the parking changes? We have a few big 40Rs going on. So if anybody wants updates on those, please reach out and I'm happy to provide as much information as possible.
Okay, thank you, Andrew.
That's it from me.
That's it. Unless anybody else has any further comments, I would accept a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
I'll
Second.
second it.
Hillary, thank you, Hillary. Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye, raise your hand. Very good.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you guys.
Okay.
Good to see you and have a great night.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you all for attending
Have a
tonight's
night.
meeting. Appreciate it.
Short and
Bye now.
sweet.
Good night.